Hey.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
You know where you are. You're How to Survive.
Yeah.
And
You're surviving.
You can always... Are you missing out on our Patreon? People? Don't be. Because we're fun there too.
Jump on in.
We're going to do a really fun bonus for April. I just know it. It's not out yet.
No, we haven't even recorded it yet.
I know, but we're gonna.
It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good. I have a really good feeling about our bonus episode this month.
Sounds good.
We're gonna be there,
and we hope you'll be there.
Yeah. So come on over to Patreon, check us out, have some fun. I think our listeners over there are having a lot of fun too. What else is going on?
How was your weekend?
It was Easter.
Oh yeah, I forgot you.
So terrible or.
No. It was. We just love Easter.
Oh, it's the best.
Big Christians at our house. Just celebrating.
But do you do the hunt and the thing and everything, or what do you do?
We have to. Yes,
yeah, of course.
My children demand it.
No, it's fun.
They also continue to believe.
No,
I swear.
There's no way.
I don't think it's real.
They're pretending to pretend.
I think they're pretending
to believe.
Anyone who's listening, I'm about to spoil the Easter Bunny.
Okay.
So if your kids are around, my kids...
Boy, there's something about warning you're going to spoil something that kind of gives away what you're going to spoil.
Yeah.
Well, it's not...
I'm going to spoil the Easter Bunny for you guys.
Yeah.
So.
Well, better that than The Last of Us.
Yes, that's...
Oh, that's true.
Oh, you watched it?
I did.
Okay. We shan't say a word.
We shan't. Off air, we can talk about that. Bonus. Yeah, it's weird. They seem to want this to go, and I don't think it's for us. It's not like we're invested in it being real. Like they're like, we got to keep pretending for our parents' sake, otherwise they'll fall apart.
So what do you mean? They say like, oh, the bunny hid everything. We got to go.
Well,
do they put Easter Bunny in quotation marks every time they say it?
No, it's so funny. They're like, Alex this year was like, Mom, do you think? She's like, I don't know who's doing the eggs or if it's you or the Easter Bunny, but could you maybe coordinate that I don't know if there's like a way to take some photos of where they're hidden or do some kind of like.
Oh, you mean so afterward if you miss one?
Because every year there's like a couple that.
Right, that's smart.
Sven and I hide, like we stuff all of them, they're plastic eggs, and we hide them all over, in the house. And then usually there's like a couple that just don't get found.
Yeah, well, better that than real eggs.
Sure.
That's when it gets ugly.
Yeah, that's when you do find them a couple weeks later because you're like, I think there's a dead rat in the house, and it just turns out it was an old egg. But we also have had the dead rat, and we found it.
That was definitely the Easter Bunny's work.
That was, yes. He's also hiding dead rats in our ductwork. So I was like, you know what? You're giving a lot of notes. When the kids start giving a lot of notes. She goes, also, she had more notes.
Uh-huh.
We don't really want to do you or the Easter Bunny or whoever, I don't know who the baskets are coming from, but me and Benji don't really want to do like a scavenger hunt to find the baskets in the neighborhood.
Is that what you used to do?
Last year, that's what we did.
That's so fun.
I agree. Why
wouldn't they want to do that?
They had to solve clues, then to go out in the neighborhood.
I remember you
do
saying that. I was going to say,
Yeah.
Screw them. I'll come over.
Let's go.
We do an awesome Easter. And I go, I don't think you get to give notes. I think if you give notes, it might be time to
hang up
wrap
the basket
this up when you're starting to give notes. Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay, so they know. They're just...
I think they do, but it's fun for them still to pretend.
I see. Yeah.
Like it's still I don't know, because I asked, we went to a second hunt at friend's house who had kids similar ages, and there was one who had like a 13-year-old. I go, so are your kids kind of over, is he kind of over it? She goes, oh, no. I go, so do they still like to act like there's an Easter Bunny? She goes, yep.
Wow.
She goes, I think we still have a couple years. I'm like,
a couple years?
I know. I was
Wait a second. You can't get your driver's permit and believe in the Easter Bunny.
Well,
sorry. That's
I don't know.
Not okay.
Maybe. So yeah, they enjoyed it.
A couple of years.
I know.
I mean, I have no problem with doing it. I think
Yes.
it's fun because it's fun. Who doesn't like to search for things and find things?
It's super fun.
It's just the believing in it that I'm finding a little hard
Well, and any time they say,
swallow.
because I said, well, at one point they said, who's Santa Claus? Is it you guys?
Uh-huh.
I go, do you want to know? Nope. Okay. So, whenever they want to know,
Right.
and they know, It's just they want to keep not knowing. So
still, it was Santa Claus too. Okay.
yeah, we still do. Last year, I still wrap things in a different color of paper.
Wow.
And write from Santa in a different penmanship. But they'll be like, I feel like this paper I can recognize.
Oh, jeez.
So I'm like,
You got to like import paper from another country or something.
I know, that's a good idea. So they still like the whole fantasy of it. I'm not like trying to force them to still believe.
Right.
I'm kind of going at the level where they
make the fantasy last.
it's fun. You know what? Like life, like they're doing lockdown drills at school. Like, can we make
Yeah,
something
right.
feel innocent and fun? So it was nice.
Did I ever tell you how Oliver found out?
No.
Because he was, well, I thought he was late. Apparently he wasn't that late. He was like 10.
Yeah.
And all of his friends already knew.
Yes.
So it was like almost embarrassing. But he got up at 3 a.m. and saw me doing the Easter basket.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, and he shut the door. And, yeah, you know, it was like he got me watching porn or something. And so then when it came time for Christmas that year, he said something to Jimmy, or Jimmy asked him.
Yeah.
So it was kind of unfortunate that it was like just a mistake on my
Yeah.
part. But it was like 3 a.m. I
Yeah.
had to do it at some point.
Yes.
I had to wait for him to go to bed and be in bed. And
Sure.
I think maybe Jimmy was out of town or something.
So no big Easter for anyone?
Well, I think I may have given Oliver a gift like as recent as last year,
Yes.
but I didn't do anything for him this year. I was just like, sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't expect anything. We don't. But we went to breakfast and we actually ran into people. I was like, where are we going to go that's not going to be crowded on? I go, we're going to a deli. Like it's the only place I could think
Yeah.
of that's not going to be crowded on Easter. And then Jimmy and I went to LPGA tournament, ladies golf.
Nice.
And I was like, I think I just need to get outside and do something, even if this is like not my bag. So
Right.
it was nice. I mean,
Yeah.
it was very warm. I asked him like, when do I shout out Baba Booey?
And that's something Jimmy's interested in.
He loves ladies golf.
Okay.
He's a huge ladies golf fan.
Yes. And is that what it's called? Ladies golf?
It's ladies. What does PGA stand for? Professional Golf Association. So it's Ladies Professional Golf Association.
It sounds so antiquated.
Well, he kept saying girls, and I was like, Jimmy, they're not girls.
That's like my dad.
And he's like, well, they're 19. I go, but you wouldn't call a 19-year-old guy a boy. And he's like, fair.
Yeah.
But they just say that. It's just, I don't like it. Anyway.
Yeah.
But it's very sweet because there's, little girls there who,
Yeah.
in their, like, sort of almost like tennis outfits, golf outfits, whatever,
Yeah.
like, following. There was one little girl who had like a box of Peeps she was walking around in. And I was like, this is not a good plan. This is like 86 degrees out. You should not be walking around with Peeps. This is not a good plan. But yeah, it was nice. It was good to like. It's so casual because you just like walk around and follow them wherever you want to go. It's very weird
On the course.
Yeah, because it's ladies golf. It's not as popular.
Yeah.
So it's I mean, there are a lot of people there, but not like if it was men's golf. So
Which you have to respect
yes,
because it's men.
yeah. Well, so it was, so you just kind of follow, you just decide, I'll go to this hole or I'll follow this person.
Yeah.
I mean, half the time I couldn't even see the ball in the air. I was like, I don't understand how anyone is seeing where it lands because I can't even see it once they hit it.
Sure.
But so that was nice. And then
You stretched your legs.
I stretched my legs. I had to get out and do something. I've just been so homebound.
Sure. You haven't been feeling well.
Well, I had, the 2 weeks of insomnia followed by a week of nausea. Now, because of everything I took for the nausea, my stomach is killing me, I think, because I kept eating these ginger candies,
Yes.
which I think cause gas.
Okay.
So my stomach is bloated. So,
Guys, you can't believe what it's like in here right now. Good thing you
can't
can't
see
smell
you
a
guys.
podcast. Danielle loves that
just-
kind of humor.
and I love it. It's just like
It's her favorite.
I'm wearing sweatpants because I everything just hurts. Anyway, so I just had to get out. Okay, what are we learning today?
Oh, guys, we're going to learn how to survive a bridge collapse.
Oh, great.
Yes, it's going to be so much fun.
This is low key a bit of a fear of mine.
Okay, same.
We didn't do bridge collapse before?
We, Well, we did the whole sinking car. We did the sinking car.
Oh, because the car flew off the bridge.
Which will come up.
Okay,
I mean,
got it.
we will reference that episode.
Well, oh, I'm sorry. We did How to Survive Collapsing Bridge Work. It was a dental episode. I was getting confused.
You know what? If we did,
more power.
we're doing it again. There
we go.
We'll find out.
No, I don't think we did.
But do you guys want to know what the state of bridges is in the U.S.?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a report card for that. And I looked at it because I'm a nerd, and it's called an infrastructure report card, and it came out in 2025. So we have 625,000 bridges
What?
in the U.S.
What?
That's right.
That seems like a lot.
It is a lot. It is a
Okay.
lot.
I thought you were going to say 625.
Well,
625,000, you said?
yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did. 49% are in fair condition. 44% are in good condition.
Okay.
And 6.8 are in poor condition.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So you guys remember the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse in March 2024 that was struck by the cargo ship?
Yes.
Okay, that killed 6 people.
Yes.
Very sad story.
That they somehow fixed in like 3 days or something.
I mean,
It was- yeah.
it was different times, different administration.
Yeah.
The NTSB identified, after that happened, they identified 68 bridges in 19 states that were designed before the current safety standards that are in place now, that I believe were in place like in 1991, and then they reassessed that in 2012. Those might not be the exact right years, but basically old bridges that they went, this could happen with these old bridges, if they were hit by a ship. And these 68 bridges in 19 states need to be repaired.
Okay.
And 7 of those bridges are in California,
Wow.
just so you guys know. None of them are in Los Angeles, but one of them is the Coronado Bridge.
Really?
In the San Diego Bridge that goes to Coronado. And the other one is the Golden Gate Bridge.
Really?
So I couldn't find out if since that report, which was just in 2025, no, not 2025, sorry, 2024, if they then since been repaired. I would say probably not. It's that they're basically saying these bridges are at high risk. If a cargo ship were to hit them, they could perhaps not withstand.
So they're not going to collapse by cars going over them.
That's not what this report is saying.
Okay, they're not that.
They could,
Yeah.
but that's not what the report is
Gotcha.
assessing.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of footage of things happening in the vicinity of the Golden Gate Bridge, and that sucker goes down every time.
What do you mean? Oh, it's like a bunch of movies.
Movies that star The Rock. Yeah, that bridge is always going down.
That would be an interesting question. Like, how many times on screen has the Golden Gate Bridge collapsed or blown
Totally.
up?
Countless.
So, some awesome news about bridges. I'm going to tell you awesome news and then not awesome news. Okay. So bridges got this huge boost through something called the Infrastructure and Jobs Act, which Biden put into place, which included $40 billion for bridge investments.
Okay.
The less awesome part about that is that the needs of our 600 and however many thousand bridges, it's estimated to be at $191 billion.
Oh, boy.
So that's how much money our bridges need.
Wow.
So the $40 billion for bridge investments, you're like, oh my God, that's amazing. Except they need a lot more. I don't know. Do you guys know, this is a little side, I'm going to go down this little side journey for a second. Only because sometimes I nerd out on little side topics while I'm doing research for our show. The Infrastructure and Jobs Act was something that Biden passed. A lot of people are like, Biden, what did he do?
Right.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot, guys. Like, really a very consequential president in terms of what he got done. So
They just don't know how to, they just don't know how to promote any of that. They just did a poor job.
Yeah, and it's not sexy stuff. So
It's not
the
sexy.
one thing
Bridges are not sexy.
I do want to talk about this just for 1 second. So the Infrastructure and Jobs Act was the largest U.S. infrastructure investment since the Eisenhower administration created the interstate highway system in the 1950s.
Wow.
So what it does, it directed billions of dollars to states and cities for highway expansion, electric vehicle infrastructure, water system upgrades, investments in manufacturing, and more importantly, what that would also have meant was tons and tons and tons of jobs for people in economically hard hit areas, rural areas, and most of those jobs would not require college degrees.
So basically, what a government should be doing.
What a government should be doing, it's fixing your roads, it's making transportation better, it's putting more money towards fuel efficient EV cars. So all the stuff that like affects your day-to-day life and affects the people in the hardest hit areas who don't have jobs. It's saying, here are all these jobs. Okay.
Right.
And so that was so interesting to me because when I was looking at the bridges, I was like, oh, this is what these bridges need. This is what makes bridges safe.
Yeah.
I drive over this one really steep bridge to get home, and it curves.
Ooh.
And I go a different way to not take it because I'm like, this is the bridge that if I'm on when there's an earthquake, dead.
Right.
You know, it doesn't look like it's going to withstand it. Do you guys want to know about what happened to that infrastructure and jobs?
Do I?
Do you?
What happened?
So one of the first things President Donald Trump did when he was in office was he signed an executive order directing federal agencies to pause funding for the infrastructure and jobs bills adopted during the Biden administration. Instead, he's backing a private effort to invest billions in AI infrastructure.
What?
Yeah.
What does that have to do with bridges?
Nothing.
And waterways?
Nothing.
But
and it's private effort to invest billions in AI infrastructure, which will just instead put the money in the pockets of the people who are already billionaires. So sorry, I know that's not funny. It's gonna
depressing.
We can yell about it in our How to Survive Our Rage bonus episode. Okay, so why do bridges collapse? A couple reasons, a multitude of reasons. Aging infrastructure. So just like us, bridges age.
Yeah.
They can't get Botox.
Right. Well, they could get caulking maybe.
They can. But the wear and the tear and the traffic and the weather, all that stuff, and not getting maintenance, right?
Right.
They need maintenance. Sometimes they need veneers.
They do.
Sometimes they need they need to get a little
some Juvederm.
They do.
I love the
Not a
idea
sponsor.
of a guy just hanging off the side of the bridge with a caulk gun. We're going to get you fixed up real nice.
You're going to look so pretty when I'm done with you.
You're going to look like a fresh 19-year-old.
Sometimes there's design flaws, right? It's the problem in the blueprint.
Uh-oh.
Right? Maybe they cut some corners. The environmental factors, the earthquakes, the floods, strong winds.
Erosion.
Stress on the bridge, pushing them beyond their limits. And now that stuff's all getting stronger. So the bridge that was built in 1967 is not equipped for handling the new weather we're dealing with. Overloading. And every bridge has a weight limit, right? So there was a story I read about, I'm not going to share it, but a bridge that had been built, in the 1920s, then the cars weighed, a couple thousand pounds, and then suddenly now they weigh 6,000 pounds.
Right.
They're not strong enough.
That's what I was thinking. Is just like not just passenger vehicles that are heavier, but trucks and freight trucks and all that kind of stuff. It's like
changes the balance, right? And then you even think about look at the balance of roadways now with so many more people driving SUVs. It changes so much more the weight, right?
Exactly. I wonder how I don't know if you'll get into this, but how do they measure these things?
The safety?
The point at which it's about to erode. I mean, they stick a thermometer in there and go, like an oil stick. Like how do they?
It's exactly what they do,
That's
Danielle.
what they do. Okay. And if it hits the line where it says, oopsie.
Yep. And it does.
Trouble.
And it goes, wow, wow, wow. I don't need to explain it because you just
okay, fair enough. You know what? It was the answer was right there all along.
It was. You must have seen that cartoon as well.
I did.
What do you think if your car plunged 60 feet off of a collapsing bridge? Would you survive?
Wait, into water or into?
Yeah, it's water.
Well, we know from that other. I mean, that's why we have our tools.
We have our tools.
So
right?
I guess it's possible.
Experts say people can and do, and it's because of one thing. Guess what that one thing is?
That tool.
Garen?
Seatbelt.
Seatbelt. Wearing your seatbelt.
Oh.
Right? Are there people still not wearing seatbelts?
Oh, I'm sure there are. Yeah.
About 8% of Americans.
Really?
According to the recent numbers listed in the NHTSA.
They can't make me.
No, they can't. You know what? You're an American.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to wear your goddamn seatbelt, they're
Right.
not going to make you, and they're not going to make you get the jab.
Right. Same thing.
Yeah. It's like the jab in my car.
I'm sure during the pandemic you saw that footage of people in 1980.
Oh yeah,
Whatever that was.
The drinking.
Well, it was that. It was the wearing the seatbelts, and also
Okay.
you can't drink in
can't
the
drink
car.
and drive, yeah.
You can't drink and drive. And it was just like people outraged.
Yeah.
Like, how dare
That one
you?
old man he had his beer in
He had
his
his-
hand. while
he
was
did.
sleeping. You're not taking this out of my hand when
Yeah.
I drive. This is America.
Right.
Yeah, well, guess
right.
what? He's dead now.
Yeah.
So he got his. There's a survival expert named Brian Brody, and he's also a former New York City police officer. And he told ABC News the people who get out of a bridge collapse without a scratch absolutely had their seatbelts on.
Okay.
All right. So if you're knocked unconscious because you weren't wearing your seatbelt, you won't be swimming to the surface. Right. So if your car plunged into the water
Right.
and you're conscious, ideally you have 3 to 5 minutes.
Okay.
You may recall this from our HTS sinking car episode. And the time amount is also dependent on how much water is rushing in and the size of your
Yes.
car. So the 3 to 5 minutes is, variable. Now, you might assume the first thing you do is unbuckle the seatbelt and escape, right? But hold your horses.
Okay.
Hold on to those. Number 1. I'm going to give you the numbered list of what you're going to do. Number 1, remain calm, guys.
Yeah.
Come on, it's basically our catchphrase.
Basically. It is.
It is. So this is easier said than done. I don't know how calm. I feel like I'd get almost too calm and go into like a catatonic state
Oh, that's
where it would be like hard for me to even do anything. Panicking will only waste precious time and energy. Take a deep breath and focus on survival.
okay.
Take a deep breath and, gut into your Zen state. So the reason why you're not immediately unbuckling your seatbelt, according to Brody, is you want to make sure the impact is over before you take off your seatbelt. Like, you don't want to be taking off your seatbelt and there's still things are happening.
Gotcha.
You got to kind of make sure,
Okay.
let the dust settle.
Okay.
Although if there's like a giant concrete block coming
Well,
your
that's what I
way,
was thinking.
you might want to take off
Yeah.
the seatbelt and get away from it.
Yeah.
But you want to be certain no other car or foreign object is heading toward your vehicle before you make your decision about what you're going to do. Okay. Here are some tips to maximize your chances of escaping from a sinking car. Again, for broader tips on this, listen to our How to Survive a...
Yeah.
What's the name of it?
Drowning in a car?
We'll find the name of the episode and it'll be in our...
Survive sinking in
What
a
did we
car?
learn?
Yeah.
Your engine's weight will cause your car to nosedive into the water with water quickly surrounding the vehicle. You and your passengers need to allow the pressure to equalize before wasting energy trying to open the doors or windows. What
Right.
does that mean, though? Is that like the car's ears are popping? You know what I mean?
Well, I think we did cover this. It had something to do
Yes.
with the pressure from the outside creating, you can't open the doors because the pressure is too great or something.
It does. You're exactly right.
All right.
So you have to let some water come into the car. That's what it means.
Right.
It seems counterintuitive.
Yes.
Because that's the last thing you want. But you got to wait.
Right.
You got to wait a little bit for the water to come in, and that's going to allow you to open the doors. Do you need to sneeze, Danielle? Or are you just disgusted by what I'm saying?
I'm just like on the edge of sneezing.
I hate that. Don't you just look at the light? That's what I always do.
What does that do?
Makes you sneeze.
Oh.
When I'm on the edge and it's the tickle, I just stare at the light.
Oh, okay.
Just stare directly into the sun or a solar
always-
eclipse.
yeah, it's
Take off the
always a good-
glasses.
right.
Okay. Now that you've let the water come into the car, you can unbuckle your seatbelt, right? Free yourself and any passengers as quickly as possible. Break a window. Now the water pressure is going to make this difficult, right? If you can't open your doors. Mm-hmm. First, obviously, if you can open a door, just open a door.
Right.
But you probably can't because
No.
the pressure.
Right.
So if you have to break, like you're not going to be in a crank window, unless you're in an old Bronco because you're fucking cool and you're
Right.
like Pedro Pascal in The Last of Us. You can just roll your window down and you're in a flannel shirt and you're like sexy and you have a mustache.
Was that part of it?
That's just in my fantasy.
I don't remember the part of your fantasy is
Yeah.
cranking down a window.
Just cranking. That was my husband's first truck was this big Bronco. You could just roll the window down. It might not have been a Bronco, but it was one of those big
was
trucks.
sexy to
It
you?
was sexy.
Okay.
You roll the window down. Can't do that. Okay, so use a heavy object like a headrest or your foot to smash a window, aiming for the corners, or life hammer.
Yeah.
Amazon also has a bunch of like car brakey window, like if you just go to Amazon and type in like
I'm sticking with Lifehammer. but
same,
okay.
same. I mean, never wanted to become a sponsor. Reached out to them many times.
Idiots.
I know we probably sold 10 Lifehammers at least.
At least 10.
10.
Do you know how many tens of dollars that is for them?
I think they're $20 a piece.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like about $200.
We've made them at least $200.
Yeah.
And what have we gotten out of it? Not even a
Nothing.
thank you.
No.
Lifehammer, you are dead. And I think they're a German company.
I think
They should
it's-
be offering me a VIP tour of their factory.
Yes.
I don't think it's inappropriate for us to expect or demand a handwritten apology.
Yeah, I would like that from them.
Mailed.
I'm
Postal.
gonna send them this episode.
Yes.
Anyway, if you want to get a Lifehammer, or if you want to give Jeff Bezos some more money for his lady space flights, so sexist. How about
I'm
that
so
photo
tired of what?
of Katy Perry kissing the ground?
How about like actual people I know online defending the whole fucking
No,
thing?
unfriend them.
Why? How come it wasn't? How come it wasn't mocked when it was William Shatner? And because William Shatner didn't pretend that it stood for anything other than him going up in space. From what I remember, I don't remember him like the whole thing about like this is a feminist, endeavor. Fuck off.
I just think it's fun to make fun of because it's silly and there's
And
so
they
many
took
awful things in the
themselves so
world.
seriously.
And because the idea that as they're coming down, Katy Perry sang
Unfucking
a
douche
cappella,
chills. Douche
"What a
chills.
Wonderful World."
I would just be like, "Is there a parachute?
Is
Can I?"
Was that
I would have.
before or after she revealed the set list for her upcoming tour?
Wait,
No,
she didn't really do
are
that.
you serious?
Yes.
Wait, on the shuttle?
No, she didn't.
No, no.
To like,
How did I miss that?
She had like a piece of paper or something that had it just had names.
oh
of her.
my God.
Unless this is completely
Okay,
wrong.
we're gonna
but
have
I'm
to-
pretty sure
we're gonna have to-
she did.
We're gonna
That's
have
what
to
it was.
This is
cover this because
we got to get into this in the bonus.
My
I can't stop
focus
talking and
has
thinking
been
about
on
this.
Gayle King.
Oh,
that
and her
idiotic
saying-
fucking interview where
When she said, "Well, have you been to space?"
why don't you do it and then
Yeah, when you go to space, maybe you can talk about
okay,
it.
I'll get 65 million. I mean, how fucking
So out of touch.
cartoonishly out of touch
I know.
can you be? And you're really comparing yourself to is it Shepard or who did she say whose flight they recreated?
Oh my God. I want.
How
please.
can you say that? How can you call yourself an astronaut because you went through 24-hour whatever you did? Like how?
She just like.
How can you actually be
my
upset?
God, Gail.
It's just so gross. It's
Yeah.
just gross.
I don't like that they call it a ride.
What the fuck else would you call it?
What did you do? You got inside, you sat down, and you went to wherever you went.
All right.
Well, also, I think it's anyway. Let's talk about it more when we get to the bonus. Escape through the window. Okay, guys.
Yeah.
Of the spacecraft once Katy Perry starts singing.
Oh my God, that'll be It's a Wonderful World. But it's one of those like it's a horror movie, so it's that slow motion,
Yes.
creepy version of the song.
Yes, I want Jordan Peele to make Get Out, but it's that space.
Get out of
Trapped
the
in a
Oracle.
space pod with
Yes.
Katy Perry.
That's so funny.
Oh man. Okay, you're gonna swim to safety now. Okay. Once you're out, you're gonna swim towards the shore or any visible floating debris. If you're disoriented, follow the bubbles,
Okay.
which I think is good life advice.
Follow the bubbles.
Follow the bubbles, man. Find your way up. All right. Would you like to hear survivor stories?
Yes.
All right, good, because you're about to. As soon as this link opens.
Do you ever fall off a bridge and not land in the water? I mean, couldn't you land on?
I mean, bridges sometimes go over not water.
Right, that's
but
what I'm saying.
every collapse that I
Is over water.
came across when people talk about surviving, survivor stories are falling in the water. Now,
Am I crazy? Don't bridges sometimes not go over water?
you're not crazy.
Okay.
And they also often go over freeways. And those collapse too.
Yes.
And people generally just die, I think.
Yeah.
Because you're just falling onto concrete.
Right.
Okay. Da. All right. So this is going to be a few people's stories
Okay.
of surviving bridge collapses. Okay. And for our listeners, there's a pretty fascinating bridge collapse from the 60s in West Virginia that is connected to the Mothman.
I may have heard about this.
If anybody ever wants to read into that, I'm not going to share that story because it was so long.
Okay.
But they believe that the Mothman, people who were on that bridge saw this mythical creature before the bridge collapsed.
Okay.
Like it was a not harbinger, but like a...
Yeah, like warning them about it, basically. Okay. There was definitely something wrong. Linda Paul, 72, survived a bridge collapse in Minneapolis on August 1st, 2007. The Interstate 35W bridge collapsed without warning into the Mississippi River in downtown Minneapolis during the evening hour rush. Paul was 55 then, working as a shop-at-home designer for a local company. That sounds like a good job. And driving home in a minivan that doubled as a store on wheels, loaded with fabrics and sample books. Traffic was at a total standstill, leaving her stuck on the bridge around 6 p.m. I remember looking around and thinking that there was definitely something wrong, Paul said. I looked ahead and realized that the center section of the bridge was going down.
Oh, God.
And knew at that point that there was a good chance I would go down with it. And that is exactly what happened. Police later told her that she plunged down a 50-foot slope.
Nope.
As the concrete deck of the bridge collapsed, she was still inside the minivan as it fell onto wreckage on the riverbank. So she fell onto wreckage.
Okay.
Like you're
Yeah,
sort
not
of
in the
thinking.
water. Yeah.
Chunks of concrete hit her,
Oh.
fracturing 5 of her vertebrae and crushing her left cheekbone as the collapse killed 13 people and injuring 145. Here's a news story. Jesse Shelton, now a 35-year-old Broadway actor and voiceover artist in New York. Good for you, Jessie.
Making it happen.
Yeah, she's going for her dreams. Was 18 when she survived the Minnesota bridge collapse. She had been driving from work to a production she was part of at a children's theater in Minneapolis. I started to slide backwards. Oh, God.
What?
That's fucking
Oh, no.
horrible.
Oh, no.
And it was kind of like jolty, she said. I felt like I was on some sort of amusement park ride, and I remember thinking at 18 years of age, well, we'll see what happens.
Oh,
Then
poor
she was
thing.
knocked unconscious,
Thank God.
right?
I mean, I don't want to be
Please.
conscious for this.
Suffering a concussion and injuries that broke her back in 4 spots.
Oh.
I just remember that sort of final moment before I got a concussion, Shelton said. I don't recall what came after. I woke up at North Memorial Hospital with either my mom or my best friend standing over me. And her mom's like, I am your fucking best friend.
Yeah. What do you mean? Or?
Yeah, or I had a big cement block in the backseat of my car, she recalled. It narrowly missed me. It came off of one of the signs, I think, up above. So it was really pretty miraculous that I made it out because I couldn't have navigated out of the situation because I was out cold. All right, here is...
And she broke her back in 4 places
Yes.
and is on Broadway.
Right?
That's crazy.
I mean, when you're 18, you're just like,
Yeah.
you're rubber. Okay. Gustavo Morales Jr. was driving a truck over the Queens Isabella Causeway in Port Isabel, Texas, and fell into an abyss after a tugboat struck a pillar, sending part of the bridge into the water on September 15th, 2001. Morales was on his way home from a late night managing a restaurant on South Padre Island at the time. I've been there. It's a party island. He remembers it feeling like a rumble or explosion, and then his pickup truck flew over the collapsed roadway for a few seconds before crashing into the water. Thoughts of his wife, who was expecting their 3rd child, flooded his mind. Everything comes into your mind 1,000 miles an hour, he said. It was my wife, my girls, my son, who was on his way. Morales believed wearing his seatbelt and being able to manually roll down the window helped him stay conscious and escape the truck. He spent about 10 minutes in the water before some young men nearby who witnessed the tugboat hit the pier helped him and others safely out. 8 people died that day. Morales was among 3 survivors.
Wow.
Okay, do you want to hear one more? Mm-hmm. Okay. Garrett Ebling, another survivor of the 2007 Minnesota bridge collapse, was numb when he learned that 6 people who were on the bridge in Baltimore remained missing and were presumed dead. As Minneapolis bridge collapse survivors, one of the things we hold on to is that we went through this in the hopes that people wouldn't have to go through something like this in the future, Ebling said. Ebling, 49, of New Ulm, Minnesota, endured multiple surgeries, including facial reconstruction, as well as emotional trauma. We don't know what happened in Baltimore, but I don't want to see somebody have to go through that, especially unnecessarily. If it ends up being a preventable accident, then I really feel bad. In my estimation, what happened in Minneapolis was a preventable bridge collapse. And if that also happened in Baltimore, then I think that makes it even more disappointing. Yeah, I mean...
Preventable just in that they should have been more on top of it. Is that what he's saying?
It feels like they're almost all preventable.
Yeah, I guess.
You know, I mean, I guess if there's a catastrophic weather event, that's hard to...
Right. Do we know what happened with that thing last year with the, like, why did the...
The barge? Mm-hmm. The barge lost power. Oh. I know that.
So it was unsteerable. Is that what happened?
That's all I know is that it lost power, and my guess is then it wasn't able to navigate away from the bridge, but I don't know. I'd have to read up on it to know specifically why it crashed into the...
Yeah. Yikes.
So in general, if you're interested, I will put in the newsletter the 19 bridges, but it seems like in general, you know, your odds are pretty low of being in danger.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't an alarmist, like, you're going to die in a bridge collapse story, more that just, you know,
it just gets more likely, it seems like, every year because
if they don't fix it.
Yeah, I was like, let me put a positive spin on this, but then I realized, well, now they're probably not going to, unless that the I already forgot, Infrastructure and Jobs Act is released.
Right.
Those funds are released, and that gets back into play. We do need those things to be kept up on.
So, like, when he pauses things, it's just all the people working on it just aren't working on it anymore, right? So they're just out of work?
That's a good question. I would imagine because if there aren't funds there...
Right, that they can't work.
I don't know.
Like the you said thing when he was... Is that what it was called? You said? Mm-hmm. That, like, the first week of his presidency, 20,000 years ago.
Yeah, the thing he shut down that was actively investigating him, Musk.
Right.
Those are all the agencies that were going to prosecute him for doing whatever he's doing.
Well, anyway,
depressing.
Anyway, we do have a fun story coming up, maybe.
Yeah. We have
I mean, I don't know what it is yet.
Putting a lot of weight on our guns.
I am. I'm like, hey man, take it over and make it fun, because you're probably not going to die in a bridge collapse. That is the truth.
Yeah, you probably aren't.
You probably aren't. You can feel good that you probably won't, but you know,
right.
We should also still keep going to those marches.
Yeah, just don't do it on a bridge.
Oh yeah, don't stomp on a bridge.
Right. All right. Well, I guess we will be back right after this.
Yeah. Hey.
How was your break?
Oh, I figured out the soap dispenser.
Did you? Thank you.
Yes,
Did I say that on the air? That I did that?
No, you said it pre-show.
Before the show.
Pre-show banter.
Before the show started, I went into the bathroom and there was a brand new soap, like a pump soap. And I took off the plastic and I tried to, twist so the pump part comes up. But only the actual cap, the whole cap came off. And then, of course, I spilled half of the soap all over me and
the floor.
So and I just was so frustrated, I didn't even try to fix it.
I went in and I cleaned up your mistakes.
You know what? If that isn't a metaphor for our life, our show,
this whole thing, this right here,
yeah,
that's what happens.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll add some dramatic music behind that whole bit. That was a bit.
So
yes.
So if I
just doing a bit here, guys.
If I put the clothes that I just soaked in liquid hand soap in the washer with detergent, am I gonna have an I Love Lucy situation where there's soap all over? Like,
yeah, I don't think you need to add detergent. You've pre-soaped.
I've pre-soaped.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, on the first half of the show, we talked about how to survive collapsing bridges, and now we're going to discuss how to survive collapsing countries with our very special guest, Rob Kutner. Hi, Rob.
Hey, it's good to be here.
It's so good to have you. So Rob is a very well-established writer. He wrote on a little thing called The Daily Show.
Heard of it.
A little thing called Conan.
Know it and love it.
And you have just written a book.
Wait a second. Jealous.
Called The Jews 5,000 years and counting. And it is why don't you, you just tell me. You explain what it is.
I think Tour de Force summarizes it.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's what it says on the back.
Said.
Yes.
It's a comedic history of the Jewish people from Adam and Eve through Zabars.
Nice.
Oh my God, that's really genius. Wait, say that somewhere?
Yes,
in the book?
it says it in the marketing copy. I've gone through.
I've
gamed this all out years in advance.
I know, but it should say that on
it says it on the Amazon page.
Okay, all right. That's really good.
Congrats.
I don't leave any gold off the field.
No,
I just mixed two metaphors.
You did.
I'm up the creek without a mixed metaphor.
Yeah. Well, that's very exciting. So it's sort of aimed at, you were saying, like teenage.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. The publisher said this. We got to create a bar mitzvah gift.
Right.
Like I don't know if you've done that thing with your kid, like the junket, the bar mitzvah circuit.
He went to a few.
But they always they give him this tome, and it's like this giant doorstop book, and it's like Israel, our glorious legacy.
Oh, that's funny.
And it's like this 60-year-old book, and they wanted to have something that was a more fun thing to give as a gift, and also the kids do in Hebrew school and find it kind of boring, and this is a more fun way to learn history.
Oh, that's really smart.
But it's also for grown-ups.
Well, I was flipping through it a little bit yesterday, and I have to say, as a very uneducated Jew, I found it delightful and helpful.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
So I look forward to actually reading
You were
it
actually
now.
the target audience. You're
The uneducated Valley Jew.
Yes, the Koenig market.
Yeah,
the
Koenig.
Koenig bump. See?
I wish that if you were targeting, because I have 12-year-olds,
Yes.
if you could do it in memes, I know I could get my son to read it.
You know what? It's so funny because, I have a 12-year-old also. It's the same thing, too.
Oh.
He'll just say things like, hey, Dad, POV, when your dad is being cringe. I'm like, can you just speak in English?
No,
Just-
really?
Yes, he speaks in Memish.
No.
Yes.
Is he going to have a bat mitzvah?
A bar. I mean, we are in California.
No, I'm sorry. Did I say it wrong? Did I say bot?
We don't judge.
No.
Whatever.
Is he-
Gender's a construct, man.
Yeah.
Yes, he's having one this November, actually.
Okay, so it's years and years and years of studying, right?
I mean, does less than a year count?
Oh no, really?
Well, I mean, he went to a Jewish school before, and I've been kind of prepping him lightly, and then now we're getting hardcore about it now.
Okay.
So.
And has he read the book?
He's written by his dad, so of course not.
Okay,
But
gotcha.
I've tried to get him to read it, and he's like, "Oh, I see what you're doing here." Like,
You should have done it in memes. Honestly,
I should have,
that's
bruh. I should have.
I have an idea.
Yeah,
QR code on each table
yeah,
at the reception
yeah.
with a discount code for the book.
Wow,
So everyone can buy the book.
totally
At a
spiritually
discount.
appropriate.
Yes,
right.
I think so. Is he having a theme? Is he one of those kids?
We're keeping it like really like low key.
Oh,
My
okay.
daughter had one during the pandemic. And
Oh,
it was like, It was honestly so great because we just did it at home with like Zoom and like the family friend we went, and it was just us and our family and a rabbi, and the party was just like your friends drove by, and I was like, this is what it should be instead of this like we're going to rent out the Staples, the
Yes.
Crypto.com arena,
Yes,
and fly
right.
Jay-Z in on a parachute
Right.
to kill a unicorn for everybody, like,
Right. Well, also that's been done so many
that was
times.
planned.
Yeah.
I know, cliche.
So hacky. Yeah.
I know.
So this is also going to be low key because it was like that was a really good model, and we're going to do that too.
That's great. So, tell us about this story. Where are we? When are we? What's going on?
This is for the
You're
bar
how to
mitzvah.
survive.
I think bar mitzvah.
No.
How to survive a bar mitzvah. I mean, I feel like that should be a whole one. Yes. Okay. So in college, I majored in anthropology and Russian studies, springboarded into comedy.
Yes,
Sure,
of course.
Makes
where
total
that's where
sense.
Lorne Michaels recruits from usually.
Yes.
He's like, give me the one who knows Cyrillic.
And he won't laugh no matter what, even if
No.
he thinks your
No.
references are fantastic.
No. If you make him laugh, you're doing something wrong.
Right.
He's laughing at you.
Yeah.
So I majored in those pretty serious things, and what I did was, by kind of a strange twist of happenstance, I don't know how far back you want me to go, but there's the quick backstory
far as you
here.
want.
And then we'll do like some prequels, like the Star Wars.
Okay,
Star Wars
sure.
will be
I'd
very
love that,
disappointing.
yes.
Future episode. No, basically, so I did a semester abroad, and I spent it living with a family in Russia.
Okay.
Wow.
And they took us on our spring break. They took us to Uzbekistan for the field trip, as one does.
It's either Florida or
You know,
Uzbekistan.
Yeah, it's hard to
Exactly,
decide.
Right.
Yeah.
you can't really do Uzbekistan in a day. So they took us there just because it was really exotic and fun, and it was pretty easy to get sort of anywhere on really ramshackle Soviet air. But so it was during Passover, and I was like, what am I going to do during Passover? Usually I go to my family's and we do the Seder and all that stuff. I make everything Jewy, don't I?
Well, it's part of you. It's part of us. It just is.
So I called around. We were in St. Petersburg, the school was, and I said, are there any Jews in Uzbekistan? And they said, there's this guy you got to call who's like kind of the mayor of the Jewish community named, this is great, I love his name, Benjamin Benjaminov.
Okay,
Wow.
that's made up.
It sounds like it, right?
Benjamin
it's like a Dickens
Benjaminov.
character or something. Yeah, I presume.
You talking about Ben?
Yeah, yeah. we call him B squares. B squared. So he was. So he invited me to his family's, and so there's this whole. I didn't know this. There's this whole like Jewish sub ethnic community called the Bukharan Jews.
Okay.
If you lived in New York ever, like they're concentrated in Queens. Like they run all the barber shops, and they have this whole enclave, and it's a whole thing. I didn't know about it. They're not quite Sephardic. They're not quite Persian. They're most famous for these really colorful giant yarmulkes that like look like more than a skull cap, like these really thick.
Is it a religious difference or is it a cultural?
It's a
Jewish
whole sub-ethnic
cultural
community. It goes back probably 1,000 years. They've been
Okay.
there 1,000 years. They were like one of the wandering Jewish tribes that ended up way off in Central Asia.
And Queens.
And Queens, like,
Is it too late to make a barbershop movie sequel, but just about these people?
I would love that.
That would be fun.
Yeah. So I had Passover Seder with him, didn't understand anything, but was fascinated because it's like, I've never heard of these Jews, and I thought I knew Jews. And so then anthropology, we have to do a final project. I'm like, hey, I'm going to write about these guys.
Yeah.
That's great.
So flash forward is I came back to study them for my senior thesis, and then they were all leaving because the Soviet Union was collapsing. This is back when, this is how old I am. So
Same.
but you don't look it.
This is like 90, 89, 90.
This is the early 90s, like
okay.
right. This is like solid grunge territory. So I thought we should document them because they're all suddenly the Soviet Union fell and they're like, we're getting the hell out of Dodge.
You mean this particular?
Yeah, because like
Jewish community.
The economy was collapsing, and then like we could go to the West, we could go to Israel, could go to places and make more money and that sort of stuff, and and they're also, and it's also since it wasn't Soviet, I'm still going so deep into this, you're gonna have to pull me out.
No, that's okay.
No,
But
it's interesting.
it was going so Soviet that the Soviet stuff is gone. So like it's a very Muslim country, and so like when you don't have the Soviet Union, everyone gets like Islamist and like what I'm saying. So like if you're a minority religion there, you don't feel comfortable.
So this group of
Uzbekistan is Muslim, and then, like the country's they got rid of the Soviets, and now suddenly they're gonna get super Muslim, and like it's not gonna be a fun, like Iran, it's not gonna be a fun place for Jews.
they're
to
not going to be safe
So
there.
let's get out of here. Well, we don't know.
That's actually their motto. Not a fun place for Jews.
Right. That's like
Most places.
And that attracts a lot
Yeah,
of people.
which place is the fun place? Because
Yes.
I haven't found.
I haven't found it.
Right. Even
I think
the one,
it's the Valley.
even the place for Jews is not a fun place for
No.
Jews, right? It sounds like Tony Roma. Tony Roma's a place for Jews.
Remember Tony Roma's? Does it still exist?
Right. Speaking of older references, right?
It was a barbecue
There was
place.
that one on La Cienega near where I live, I think, in Restaurant Row.
Restaurant Row.
Right.
Yeah, I think that one's gone. And there was one at Universal City. Did you ever go to
Yeah.
Tony Roma's?
No, I think it's maybe
It's
before pre me being here.
Yeah. I don't eat
Well, they
meat,
called it
but
Tony Roma's a place not for Christine, which I thought
Yeah,
was
that
why
was
so
so specific.
I know
right?
they
Like,
really didn't like me.
Like go there.
They got their brand.
Well, you said it was a place for Jews, and
Yeah.
Christ is in my name.
Yeah, that's-
So
yeah.
it's
Right.
really like
point.
no,
No, it
thank
actually
you.
was probably full of baby back ribs, so probably not a kosher place, not a particularly kosher
No,
place
no,
either.
no.
So anyway, to come back to the story, so the Jews wanted to get out of there, the Bukharan Jews, and I like we should document this. This is fascinating. 1,000-year-old community goes back to the Silk Road.
Wow.
And the Timurid Empire, Timurlane, like really old stuff. Like it really has a history. And so I got some grant money, and I brought a documentary crew, and
You're still in college at this point.
yeah, but
Wow.
this is like right after college. Right
Oh,
after
okay.
This is instead of looking for a job.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, it's smart.
So I went back there, and I brought my then girlfriend, now wife Cheryl, who I think you've met, because she was really super interested in documentary film. I'm like, I know how to play the ladies, right? Pretend like you're interested in their stuff, right? So I went all the way. So I was like, you want to see a documentary, baby? Come to Tashkent with me. So So we went there, and what was funny was that I'd been to Russia before, and not only the time in school, but another time, and it was really wonky with all the sort of corruption and the post-Soviet corruption. And everybody was just, you could bribe anybody with $1 because they wanted hard currency. And I had some like iffy stuff with like visas. It was all kind of really fishy. And long story short, I didn't have my papers completely in order in a way that I thought that I should have. I thought it would be okay, and then I realized that when I got there, it would not be okay, and maybe they wouldn't let me out. And so we went to the foreign ministry branch, and we were like, can you just sort of like give us a proper visa and all this stuff? And they said, yeah, it's going to cost you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, nice citizenship you got there. Mm-hmm. See if something were to happen to it.
Right.
So they said, we can do it, but it's going to cost you some buckaroos. So we said, okay, fine, we'll pay some. And they said, oh, by the way, we're going to have to borrow your passport for a week, which my girlfriend Cheryl was very sensible. Was like, what?
Yeah.
No, but we had to. It was the only way to do it. So
they couldn't make a copy?
No, we had to turn over the passport from the to rectify it, whatever it was.
Oh my God.
But then the bigger thing was that we had to do all these. We had to jump through all these bureaucratic hoops. So we were in this like ancient city of Samarkand on the Silk Route, and we had to go to Tashkent, the capital, 4-hour bus ride. This is where I'm taking my girlfriend. 4-hour bus ride. We have to go to the airport. It wasn't even the right airport. We had to go to the other airport. Each time we have to pay another bribe.
Really?
Then we come back and they're like, okay, it's fine, but you're going to have to pay us some more. And I'm like, okay, look, dude, we're like just out of college. We don't have any money left. We just don't have the cash. We brought this much cash in our little, our little shoulder packs. And they said, okay, fine. Tell you what, we'll make you a deal. When are you planning to leave the country? I said, Thursday. And they said, tell you what, we'll stamp a, you know how people post-date a check?
Yes.
We'll give you a post-dated deportation for 2 days from now. It says that you're deported, and as long as you promise never to come back, you can leave the country. I'm like, no argument here. Say less.
It's called deportation when you're just a visitor and you're leaving?
Well, no, it means like I wasn't allowed to come. Like it means like a permanent exit.
Gotcha.
Got
You
it.
did something
Well, not
wrong.
permanent. Yeah. You're under a ban and you can't come back.
But even though you got all the papers.
Well, it was like because I wouldn't pay the final bribe.
Oh my God.
That was the price of it. And that
Okay.
was and the funny thing is that we were staying with this host family. And remember, I said everyone was trying to leave. This Jewish family.
Yes.
And so it was hard for locals to leave because they have long lines and like we can only let so many out and the host country has to accept you, et cetera. So we brought it back to my host family. They said, how do I get one of those? Can I get deported too?
Right.
Can you get me one? Hook me up.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're like, we're trying to leave by Thursday as well.
Right, exactly. We do Wednesday. That's fine too.
Wow.
It was the same stamp that the Soviet Union put on Solzhenitsyn when they exiled him to Vermont, so he could make artisanal cheese or something like that. But it's the same term and all that. So that's where our paths as writers cross, I think.
So you can never go back to Uzbekistan. Is that the idea?
I mean, this was all pre-digital, and it was falling apart Soviet Union. So if you think they still have the paperwork, then yes. But I probably don't really need to. I think I'm good.
You don't think they got your picture posted there at the office? This guy
Uzbekistan.
cannot go back.
They probably do. Do not admit this man, right?
So did you stay as long as you intended, or?
Yeah, because it was 2 days from the end of our trip. I mean, we left when we were planning to, and we had airplane tickets. So it was just it was kind of a crazy situation because it was they could have just kept me there or put me in prison or something like that. Or,
oh my God,
God
it's terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, any part of that world, well, obviously, again, still and again, being in that part of the world. And it's just you don't want to, look sideways.
It's like they make their own rules.
I mean, it's terrifying.
They look at you as an ATM,
They could have just disappeared you. Imagine living in a place like that.
What kind of person would live in a country like that?
I know,
just
right?
Put you on a plane somewhere.
And then you're gone.
And so did you make the film?
Yes, we made the film.
And how did it turn out?
I mean, honestly, the funny thing is I don't really like what the director did with it in the end, which is
you weren't the director?
No, I brought in a director who I'd worked with before and all that. So that's the most Hollywood part of the story is that I was unhappy with the final cut. Right?
That's so
So
funny.
talk about harrowing tales of survival, right?
I didn't like the cut. And did it make you the fortune you were looking at as
as all
documentary about Uzbekistan?
When you're in college.
Yeah.
Just out of college.
I was happy that we filmed it. And in fact, later on, my daughter did a school project where she got to talk about this and we had footage of it and it was very cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, we had all these great photos from it, and so and I've shared it with some people I've met from them and stuff. So I'm just happy we did it, and I didn't think we ever expected to make it. But it wasn't my money either. It was a grant to do this,
right.
And so they were happy with it. So
and you were capturing this group's sort of last moments in this area too, right?
Yeah,
like they are not there anymore, I presume.
They're
or
almost not there at all.
Almost not at all.
Yeah.
And do you know where they ended up going, or did they sort of spread out into different enclaves?
They're very collective minded, and so like they all went to like Israel, Austria, and Queens, because Austria had all these super bend over backwards. We're sorry about that whole Hitler thing. Policies for like any Jew anywhere. Like, okay, we'll take you. You can have an apartment. Just don't make me feel bad anymore. And then
I want to meet the guy that's like, what about Queens?
Right. Well, that was funny is because somehow they ended up, I guess because Queens, like every ethnicity on earth is in Queens,
yes.
right?
And aren't there a lot of Hasidim in Queens?
I mean, there's everything in Queens.
Okay.
And then like there's the whole Brighton Beach, that sort of thing. So like some Russians have been there already. So like if a few of them went there, the rest of them said, we're going where they are because they're very communal. They're very traditional, very family oriented.
Right.
Like huge families. The funny thing was that when I was in Uzbekistan, I would tell people, I would say, I'm from America. They'd say, oh, are you from America? Are you from Queens?
Oh, that's funny. That's really funny.
Yeah.
Like, that's great.
My dad's from Far Rockaway, actually. So it was like, there's like, no, not 5 towns. No. Like
Wow. And then have you ever met any people from that? What are they called? What kind
Bukharin.
The Bukharin. Have you met anyone in America?
I seek them out whenever I sort of. The funny thing about the Benjaminov name is that's how you can spot one. So if you meet like a Jew who's a little dark skinned and they have like a biblical name and then like a Russian ending like Davidoff, Moseyev, something like that, it means
then they're part of that.
They're from that community.
How interesting!
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So and in fact, I accidentally sort of crossed paths with my host family, who had in fact moved to Queens like years later.
Wow.
Because
that's really cool.
They had the same last name as some guy at an event I was at. And I was like, are you by any chance related to? Of course I'm related to. We're all related.
And did you ever show your host family the film?
I did. I didn't like have a screening with them, but I sent them the copy of it.
Oh, so did they tell you?
I wish I'd sort of been more in touch with them. I should have kind of kept both. I was kind of in a different place in life and all that stuff.
Well, you were just glad to make it out of their life.
Yeah, I know. I was like, little triggering guys.
Were they scary, these various agents? And
that's the funny thing is like, and that's sort of like, kind of Nazi movie or like, British, like it was all just very calm and bureaucratic. It wasn't at all like sinister because like they had this institutional power. They didn't really have to.
Yeah.
But I think when you think about the implications, like I don't know what they could do to me. So that's like it's like scarier in a way.
Yeah, and they don't have to be scary because they know the implication is.
Yeah, and also they want to get more money out of me, so they don't want to rough me up too much. Right.
God dang!
Wow,
that's a great story. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And do you still travel a lot? Do you go
to more conventional places?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You're looking for Jews at like Hawaii.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
these are the Maui Jews.
I'm filming a show called The Blue and White Lotus. So.
Nice.
Nicely done.
Well, thank you so much, Rob, for being here. This was awesome.
This is so much fun.
And we will be back with What Did We Learn Today?
Danielle.
Yes.
Are you ready to learn what we learned today?
So ready.
What's wrong with letting the magic last? Let the kids believe as long as they want.
100% agree.
The age-old parental question, dead rat or bad egg?
Oh, God.
Or maybe both.
It makes me think of Charlotte's Web because didn't Templeton have a thing with an egg? Templeton the rat.
Romance?
Not a romance. I just remember he stole the eggs. Do rats eat eggs?
I think rats will eat just about anything.
I don't know. I can't think about it.
Don't make her think about rats right now. Okay. This is from Google AI. The Golden Gate Bridge has been destroyed or significantly damaged in numerous movies. One source states that the bridge has been destroyed 9 times in the past 10 years. Another source lists 12 movies where the Golden Gate Bridge is featured, with several showing its destruction or significant damage. Here's some examples. It Came from Beneath the Sea, 1955. Superman, 1978. The Last Stand.
Wait, you gotta say what they did.
Oh, it
destroyed by a giant octopus.
Okay, It Came from Beneath the Sea.
That's great.
1955, destroyed by a giant octopus.
Yeah.
Superman, 1978, partially toppled by an earthquake. X-Men, The Last Stand, 2006, transported and sunk by Magneto's telepathic powers.
Magneto.
Sorry. You guys know.
Note that the nerd in the room did not correct you.
I'm a nerd.
She's a nerd who likes to correct.
Adjacent.
It's the German in her. Godzilla, they love to correct. Wherever your family comes from.
Yeah.
What is your country of origin?
Lithuania.
Okay, well they must love to correct as well.
Did you think I was German?
I don't know. Maybe.
No way, man.
Well, you could be. There's lots of. Guess what? A lot of Jews came from Germany
At one point.
Yes.
Not anymore.
No, not anymore. But I didn't know. I don't know.
No, the name, yes, König is German. It means king. But no, I was from Lithuania.
Both sides?
Yeah, believe it or not.
Oh, that's so interesting. Were your parents related?
Probably. Could explain a lot.
Destroyed by Godzilla after it cuts through the span?
Huh? Oh,
Like
the
middle?
span of it. Okay.
San Andreas, 2015, a mega tsunami causes it to collapse. So, sorry for those spoilers
Yeah.
on all those movies. According to a new report by the New York Times, bridges are facing unprecedented pressures from climate events, including large temperature swings, increased flooding, and troublesome soil erosion. Experts are saying, what happened there with my voice? Experts are saying a quarter of America's bridges may collapse within 26 years.
Jesus.
This is from Google AI.
That part isn't. That's from the New York Times.
Oh, you're right.
no.
I just said it at the beginning.
A quarter might collapse in 16 years?
26 years. That's what experts are saying.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, remember, wear your seatbelt. Okay?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, here we go. Want to learn more about surviving a submerged car? Check out episode 8, How to Survive Drowning in a Car and Drowning in Alcohol with Jackie Cation.
Yes, I remembered it was early.
Oh, episode 8.
Oh, little baby episode. Just a baby.
Look at what a cute episode 8. During the Blue Origin spaceflight, Katy Perry was seen floating in space with a butterfly-shaped piece of paper that she said was the set list for her Lifetimes tour. Come on.
She's calling her tour Lifetimes?
No, she didn't.
No.
Come on.
Is she seriously calling her tour Lifetimes?
She can't do that. Is she for real?
So does she still have fans? Because it seems everywhere I look, everyone kind of thinks she's a joke. But they thought she was a joke before this. So I just don't care for her songs. But I don't know, why do people... I think we've already talked about this. Well, I guess she was Russell Brand.
yeah.
There's so many reasons to dislike her, right? Okay.
I mean,
I'm just talking out loud now.
I feel compassion about Russell Brand because I think he's a garbage human and she probably was badly treated. But I feel like as a person, she's kind of cringe.
She's cringe.
As the kids say.
Yeah.
But, I think we probably have a lot of listeners who like her, and that's fine. You're allowed to like who you like.
There's some.
yeah.
Oh God!
You okay?
I'm getting choked up. About
The
it,
devil's
guys.
punishing you because you're going to say
know.
something bad.
I really wasn't. I was gonna there's something about Katy Perry that is charming to me, but she is shooting herself in the foot
Repeatedly,
constantly, repeatedly, and I'm like she feels like the most down to earth, believe it or not, of all of the Queen pop stars.
I don't think
Really?
so.
She, like personality wise, not actions. She's acting like a complete fucking idiot, but there's something about her that's endearing. But she goes out of her way to ruin it.
I don't
like.
find
I
her
liked her on
endearing.
American Idol when it started. When she
I didn't
started.
watch Idol, so I don't know.
Yeah.
So wait, what is it called again? It's called
Lifetimes.
Lifetimes. Okay. All right.
It's not like Eras at all, you guys.
It's totally different. It
And
comes
it's
from something
And
different.
it wasn't inspired by Eras, and I'm not doing anything like Eras.
It's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. Okay.
While some of the songs on the set list
Oh wait. Okay. So go on.
were visible, the print was too small to fully read, but fans were able to identify a few titles like Chained to the Rhythm, Teary Eyes, and Dark Horse, according to Billboard.
That is so she literally used it. I mean, you can't even be offended if someone says that it's a publicity stunt because it's literally a publicity
That's
stunt.
what it was, yes.
Yeah.
The Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore collapsed on March 26, 2024, after being struck by the cargo ship Dolly. The collapse was caused by a complete blackout that occurred on the Dolly shortly before it struck a bridge support, leading to a loss of power to the ship's engine and navigation systems. Preliminary reports from the National Transportation Safety Board indicate that the blackout was due to a loose cable in the ship's electrical system.
Huh.
That part is bonkers to me.
So, but what would the ship normally do? Because would the bridge lift? Or is it one of those bridges that would lift so the ship could go through?
It didn't even hit. It hit one of the legs of the bridge, basically.
Right, but my point is, a ship is traveling. Is it?
I think it was high enough that it wouldn't need to draw, like elevate or whatever.
Oh, it could just go under it. The plan was
he's
it would
saying it didn't hit. Right. It wasn't that it was too tall. It hit something that was like on the side.
The support.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Got it. Okay. Bukharin. Am I saying that right?
I guess.
I don't know how to do that thing.
Don't try.
I'm sorry. I'm not. You know what? I can't do the thing when I'm trying to speak German either. It's a.
Oh, really? You can't do the guttural, whatever that is?
I can't. So I'm sorry.
I can't roll my R's and I hate it. So
I'm going to just say Bukharin Jews are one of the oldest Jewish diaspora groups, dating back to the Babylonian exile, and comprise a brand of Persian-speaking Jewry. They are also one of the oldest ethno-religious groups in Central Asia. Since the dissolution of the Soviet Union, the great majority have immigrated to Israel or the United States, with others immigrating to Europe or Australia.
Interesting.
I've never heard of that before.
No, me neither.
It's not like I have a grasp on every group on Earth, but it's interesting to learn new.
Could you by next week?
I'll try.
Thanks. That would be a good assignment, I think, for you to work
To
on.
learn about every ethnic group in the world? All right. I'll do my best.
Do your best. Tony Roma's is not out of business, guys, completely. While the chain has faced financial difficulties and has closed many locations, particularly in the U.S., it still exists and is actively trying to expand its reach. A new owner acquired the company in 2021 with plans for growth, including a fast casual concept called Tony Roma's Bones and Burgers.
No! Go back to the drawing board.
Yes.
That is not the way to rescue.
Bones.
You don't want the word bones in your title.
Bones
Dude,
and
no.
burgers.
No.
Oh, no.
I don't know what I ate because I wasn't eating meat even then. So I think they had...
I think they had a fish dish or something.
But I think they had that fried, you know when the onion rings are really skinny?
Yes.
Like a blooming onion or whatever?
No, like, what is it called? Shoestring?
Yes, that sounds
but
good right
onions.
now.
I think they had that.
Could
I think
we have
that's
those
what
delivered to
Yeah, that
us
does sound
here
good.
right now?
Yeah.
Let me check and see if Bones and Burgers is open.
God.
Are they on DoorDash? Can we get some bones and burgers in this joint?
And then there's a football player named Tony Romo.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's confusing. Okay.
yeah, he should be part of the chain.
I mean, if they're maybe he's the bone.
Oh, Tony Bono. He's part of Bono. He's the bone.
Why don't you just call it Tony's B&B? There's your name.
Tony Bono.
I wonder if Tony Romo was a real guy.
Tony Roma?
Tony Roma. Isn't it called Tony Roma?
Roma, you said Romo again.
No,
Romo
I said
is the
Roma.
football player that
I
Kim
know, said
Kardashian
bar
messed
mitzvah,
with.
bat mitzvah when I meant bar mitzvah. I don't know.
It's okay to say the wrong thing.
It's totally fine.
Well,
Neither one of them are relevant anymore, so who cares?
Tony Romo. Yeah, right.
Take that, Tony Romo.
Yeah. We showed him.
How many times do you think his friends called him Tony Homo? That was what made me laugh so hard in Hacks. When the woman introduced herself to Deborah and she said her name was Homo.
Yes, yes.
And Deborah was like, how do you spell that? But just like the woman said it as if it wasn't weird at all.
Yeah.
Like you should not. I haven't heard a million times that it's weird that my name is Homo. It was so fucking. That's the sweet spot of reality / farce that the show gets. That I think is so funny.
Yes.
Like, because like in that moment you're on Deborah's side. Like what?
Yes.
What? Like,
Yeah.
Your name is Homo.
I think I loved that episode's example of also just their sort of generational divide with the writers. Of she's like, why do I have to keep being so nice to them? Where it was like, right. And she's like, we have to do team building activities because she's so millennial.
Millennial, yeah.
And, you know, we have to make everybody feel warm and cozy so they can feel comfortable to write. And Deborah's like, fuck that.
Yeah.
You know, their job is to make jokes, you know, so it's like I'm constantly feeling pushed and pulled in both directions between who I want to side with because I'm in between the two of them, where partially I'm siding with Ava and partially I'm siding with Deborah, which I think is what they want.
Yes.
You know, like they're hitting that sweet spot of going, well, I kind of agree with it's Vance here, you know, but then I'm also like, well, but you can't be that much of an asshole, you know, so I think it's such a push-pull. And
and they do such a good job of like making you like a little bit making fun of woke culture without it ever feeling like they're anti-woke.
Exactly.
Like,
and the same with making fun of
our generation, even though she's older than us, but
this generation of like pull up your bootstraps and fucking get over it.
Just like you don't need a fucking to be coddled. Just like go to work.
Yes.
Yeah.
They do
a really good job.
It's a really good balance. And then I think having these sort of outlier characters like the mayor come in and just
I hope she comes back.
ridiculous. I know. I'm like, please have her on every episode.
God, she was so amazing.
Just I like, or that episode with Christopher Lloyd.
Oh,
in the screenplay.
That never went anywhere. We thought that was.
I mean, and then the Days of Our Lives woman playing his mom.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That episode made me laugh. Like everything out of the mouth, like that made me laugh so hard. You know, you just have these unexpected moments of like just big ballsy comedy that we need.
Watch Hacks.
Watch Hacks is, I think, what we're saying, and we don't need to say anything else to you today except
until next time,
remain calm.